What's up, guys? This is The Quad with Chris Young. As always, I'm Chris Young. To my right, we got Haley the Bear.
Hello.
To my left, producer Josh.
Hello, everyone.
On Zoom, Mr. Ryan from Miami.
Going full Florida man today from the pool here, ladies and gentlemen. So,
Yeah, it's 30 degrees here, so we hate you a little bit.
Yep.
Just a little.
Yep.
Just a little.
And all the way down on the far left, our guest today, Mr. Dusty Slay. What's up, bud?
All right, we're having a good time. Pumped to be here.
Surprise guest for you guys. I know we talked about we were going to have some once we got all of our video dialed in, but man, thank you so much for jumping on, being with us.
Yeah, I'm pumped to be here. This is awesome.
You have your own podcast, by the way.
Yeah, I have the We're Having a Good Time podcast, and I just started, doing it again. I get slack, but it's back up and running now.
Awesome.
I was told that you were nominated, the most nominated at the ACMs this year, 7 nominations. So
Yeah,
congrats
man.
on that.
Thank you, dude.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Very, very excited about that, obviously. I just was doing an interview with the Tampa station, Ryan, right before I came in here, and talking with them about all the nominations and a show I've got coming up down in Florida, because that's obviously where you want to go play right now if it's 30 degrees where you live.
It's a balmy 62 right now by the pool here in sunny South Florida. So
Must be nice.
That sounds fantastic.
I was just in Minneapolis. It was -6.
No, thank you.
So you have the opposite
Yeah,
end
so
of that.
I'm sweating.
quite the difference.
Yeah, it feels
Quite the
great.
difference.
Did you have a show up there?
Yeah, I did. I was in St. Paul, actually, but it's the same, I think. They're right there. They call them the Twin Cities, so I assume they're the same, right?
Yeah. It's anywhere that they have to build like tubes between buildings because it gets so cold in the winter for you to walk back and forth.
Yeah.
It's probably cold.
Wait, that's actually a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the first time I saw one was in Des Moines. They called it a skywalk, and I thought it was like an attraction.
No, it's
Like
to
something
keep
from
people
Star
from
Wars?
freezing.
Yeah,
It's-
I walked through it for like an hour. I was like, there's only business people in here.
No tourists.
You're like, yeah, this is, if you want to look like what you think it looks like when you grow up from high school, this is it. This is everyone in business suits walking
Yeah.
back and forth. This is the attraction. And at the end of the maze, there's a piece of cheese. No. So I do want to say one big fan.
Thank you.
When we were talking with Josh about having you on, which shout out. Thank you, sir.
Thank God
right.
your
Yeah,
PR.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. I love your brand of humor, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're like always totally clean with your humor.
Yeah, I keep it pretty clean. I mean, I got a couple of things. I talk about weed here and there, but I got a little adult content, but it's all clean. Yeah, I mean, I'm not, I don't know. Dirty comedy doesn't look too good on me. I don't know what it is. I've had some jokes in the past. I bombed one time in front of my dad and his wife and people from their church, and I was a little dirty, and I just thought, if I had bombed and been clean, this would be less embarrassing.
There's always the one show, and I love hearing that someone else say that's an entertainer and a performer. There's always one show that you remember, you're like, that did not go the way I saw that going in my mind.
No, it's so bad, and then you can look out and see your family in the audience and go, they're not having a good time.
They're supposed to be there no matter what. It's supportive. They
And
got a fake laugh just for you.
Yeah, well, it was Columbus, Georgia at the Loft. I'll never forget. And there was a bar next to it, but the door wouldn't really close all the way. And you could see that everybody in the bar was having much more fun than the people in the comedy club. That was years ago. That doesn't happen now.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. And I mean, obviously, like all the stuff that you've got going on, not just the touring and the shows, but I believe it's the 5th episode of season 3.
Yeah, I think so.
On Netflix?
I'm second to last, but it's a hot number 5.
Hot number 5. You can order that at McDonald's. No, it's the stand-ups.
Yes, stand-ups on Netflix, season 3. Yeah, episode 5, like second to last, feels like the worst spot. Like if you're credited in a movie, you want to be like first or last, and second to last is like, all right, well, we got to put him in there, But it's a hot spot. I feel good. I like the set. So I got some 15 minutes of trailer park jokes, and it's great.
Is that where the
Dusty,
joke?
that's
Go ahead, Rye. Sorry.
No, that's what I wanted to hit on, because your past has become such a pathway for you in comedy. Like you tap into that trailer park past. I love that. Like, was that just organically you decided, let me poke fun at myself, and then it becomes like part of the joke? Or how did that all come to be?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I just was trying to, when I started comedy, I was like making up all this stuff, and it felt fake and not funny. And then I just told a couple of stories one time, and then it really worked. And so I really wanted to, so I tried a long time to write trailer park jokes, but people would go, in the audience, they would go, "Aw," and stuff like that, like they were sad about it. So I really had to figure out how to do trailer park jokes without people being sad and without them thinking I'm making fun of people that live in trailer parks. You know, I'm like, hey, I'm just telling you what I've been through. You can be sad if you want to, but don't be. Do you know what I mean?
There's one in particular. It was the camping joke where you were, I don't know how old this was, but it was one of the things that I looked up, and I was just laughing because you were talking about, I was like, hey, everybody would like to go camping. You're like, I didn't need to go camping because it was the difference between us living in a trailer and then living in a tent. Because it really wasn't that far apart.
I mean, we already kind of live in a camper. You know? We don't really need to take it down to a tent. Like, we know what it's like to be poor. We're not trying to find out what it means to be homeless. You know, we're not trying to practice homelessness.
That's great.
It's amazing. So obviously on this podcast, we do sports, movies, music, and a hot take, which everybody goes, what do you do for a hot take? It's like, it's a catch-all. It's anything that we can argue over in the friendliest manner possible. But
most of the time,
when it comes to like movies, music, sports, like, first of all, are you a big sports fan? Because you're from Alabama?
I like football, and I like when the Braves are in the World Series. But I can't get into baseball all year. Basketball's too many games. Baseball's too many games. I like football. You know, I can settle down, watch a game, yell about it, say that it's rigged, say I'll never watch it again, and then watch it the next day.
Sounds like Josh this year watching Kansas City.
Yeah, that was me all season.
Yeah.
It's still me.
That's what I do all the time. I'm like, I'm not watching this anymore. This is rigged. It sucks. And then I can't wait to watch it next week.
So
Are
who's
you
your
a bigger
team?
college guy?
I like college.
college
I
guy?
mean, I like Alabama. I'm a big fan of Alabama. Normally I like to pull for the underdog, but with Alabama, I like seeing them crush people's dreams year after year.
well, your dream got crushed this year.
It did. It did.
Just rub that in, why don't you?
Yeah, that's what I
Thanks
had
for
to
being
do.
on the show. Now,
Well, who's your NFL team then?
I don't really have an NFL team. I mean, I like the Titans, you know. I mean, I live here, and Derrick Henry's there, and that's great. But, you know, I love to get into the drama of a game. It's like, so the game last night, I'm like, I'd like the Bengals to win, but I also would like Matthew Stafford to win. It's like when you're stuck at the Lions for 12 years, it's like, I mean, and I always wanted to pull for the Lions. I got a brother-in-law from Michigan. I tried to be a Lions fan for a while, but
That's
they're just
depressing.
never going to do anything. I don't know what happens. People, their careers die there, you know? Calvin Johnson was like, I'll just quit football. Barry Sanders was like, I'll just quit football.
Hall of Famers, though. I mean, you know, they were Hall of Famers in Detroit.
Right,
So
but
that's
imagine had they been on another team. What would that been like?
They would have won a ring or something.
Yeah.
yikes.
But, you know, I like to get into the drama of it all, you know? I like a good story.
Speaking of stories, we always ask anybody that's a guest, like, you don't have to say, you can either say your number one favorite, or you can give us like a top 5 like favorite movies that you've ever seen. And that gives us a little bit of insight in people. Because if you ask Josh, you ask me, Haley, or Ryan, it's all going to be different.
Any kind of movie or any genre that you want me to go into?
Just, you know what? If you want to say your favorite genre, you can talk about that.
Well, I mean, like, comedies, I really think Ace Ventura is my favorite. I mean, there's a lot of them in there, but I just watched it again the other day, and I'm like, it's so good. Year after year, it just holds up. It's still good.
laces out, baby. Laces out.
It's so good. I love it.
Did you like the second one?
I did like the second one, but this is what I didn't like. in the first one, Ace Ventura, he never loses. Even when people pick on him, he beats up the other cops. He always wins. And in the second one, when he's like in the jungle fighting that guy, he loses to that guy. I didn't like that.
Okay.
You're always supposed to win.
He should always win.
It should be that kind of suspension of disbelief thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And obviously music, you talk about this, but I had to ask just because being a country artist, are you actually a country fan?
I love country music. I think it's the best. I mean, I grew up listening to country and, I have a joke, but I do think it's true. It's like, a good country song can have you reminiscent about times you never had, Like I never went to the lake growing up. I wasn't like a lake family, but I hear a country song about the lake. I'm like, yeah, I remember that.
You just wrote a song right there, sir. I think you just wrote a song.
I mean, country is the best, though. I love stories, and Charlie Daniels had some of the best storytelling country songs, and I don't know, it's just great. Call Up Trudy on the Telephone. Oh man, what a great song! I know that's not the title, but it's just Trudy.
No, just Charlie Daniels was awesome.
Famous Friends is a great song.
Yeah.
I didn't even pay him to say that. I didn't even pay him.
Check is in the mail. Check is in the mail. Dusty, I did have a question for you because we had good friend Gavin DeGraw on recently, and he kind of gave some life advice. And I wanted to ask you because you actually quit comedy back in the day, and you had given it up and then got back into it. And obviously breakthroughs happen. But can you take me through that process of actually deciding to leave it, why you did, and then how you got back into it, and really the trials and tribulations and why, always trying to just rise back up. Can you take me through that story personally?
Well, when I had barely got into it when I quit before, and I had my first set that I ever did went really well. And then after that, it wasn't going well, and I was drinking a lot, and I would just felt like this weird emotional roller coaster where I'd go up and bomb and then feel bad about myself. And I was like, I just don't need this in my life, And then, I tried comedy again, and I did it sober. And it went so good that I just felt this feeling in me that I was like, this feels good. And then I wanted to just keep doing it again. I mean, and then I quit drinking eventually in 2012, and my comedy got way better. And I mean, I don't know if you're asking for life advice, but for me, it's like, I just say, like, don't like set these lofty goals for yourself that you have to hit. I just think that life unfolds, if you're working hard, if you're putting in the effort, if you're doing the things you need to do, it all unfolds. You can have an idea of what you'd like to do, but for me, I had no idea that I would be where I'm at right now. So, so I'm just like, I was just doing comedy, and I just decided that I was going to do comedy because I enjoyed doing comedy. I was like, I'll find a way to make a living, but I don't have to be famous. I don't have to be rich. I like doing this. This is better than selling pesticides and waiting tables, which is what I was doing. And I'm like, I'll just do this.
I hope not at the same time.
I did do it at the same time, actually. Sometimes the same day. I would dust off the pesticides and go wait tables, But it's like, I don't know. I just feel like they'll set these goals and they're like, I got to do this and I got to do that. And then it seems like they don't even enjoy their life anymore. And I'm like, why would you want to hit that goal? It's like, so I don't stress myself out about it. I'm like, it's what's going to be is going to be, and I'm just going to do my thing. And that's not an excuse to be lazy. I don't mean you go, hey, it'll happen, and then you turn on, some TV show and binge watch and eat chips all day.
I feel like he really wanted to say, then you just turn on Netflix but he's on Netflix.
It is true.
You get a question for him?
Yeah. Who were your comedy influences growing up? Who did you listen to? Like what got you, what made you laugh?
Well, growing up, I mean, all my family's country, and it's like I had to, I listened to Jerry Clower and Jeff Foxworthy and Bill Engvall and all those guys. And I like them. I mean, Jeff Foxworthy came out when I was in middle school, and it's like no one had ever really spoke to me like that. I mean, I'm living in a trailer park, and I'm like, oh, this guy gets it. This guy gets what I'm living. But as I got older, I like Mitch Hedberg, Ron White, a little dirtier of the country. Mitch Hedberg was so great. I remember the first time I listened to an album, I laughed and laughed, and then I took it to a neighbor's house, and we sat there and listened again and laughed and laughed. It's so good. I'd never heard comedy like that. There's another comic named Neil Hamburger, and he is, in some ways, like the worst comic, but in other ways, like a genius. And nobody makes me laugh like Neil Hamburger.
I mean, a lot of people would have said that about Mitch Hedberg.
Yes, that's true, too.
Just because, like, for people that don't know, like, crippling stage fright. And so when he performed, he would just look down the whole time. And all of his jokes would be, like, really left-footed. So there was, like, one of his jokes where he was like, I lived in a small New York apartment, and basically the premise was it was so small the people next door could hear. And he was like, they would knock on the wall, and I'd be like, you're going to have to go around. I cannot open the wall for you. And like that's his delivery. That's the whole joke. But that was like his cadence. It was so awkward and so different. Like I'm a really big Mitch Hedberg fan for sure.
It's easier for me to listen to Mitch Hedberg than to watch him. Yeah. But Neil Hamburger, he's like almost the setup is the punchline. Like usually when you get to the punchline, it's no good. But it's the setup that's really good. And then he'll just throw a good one in there. I don't know. There's one where he opens for, I don't know, Jack Black's band, whatever, Tenacious D.
Yeah.
Called Hot September Night. And it feels like he's bombing the whole time, but it's amazing. The audience starts chanting, "You suck." And then he goes, "Yeah, I suck the money right out of your wallet."
There you go.
There it is.
Jokes on them.
There you go.
I haven't heard your podcast. Is it just a true comedy podcast, or are you specifically discussing things?
Oh, I'm just talking about stuff. It started off to be a podcast about nothing where I just kind of talk about comedy, and then 2020 hit, and I felt like the world was ending, and I felt like people needed hope, and I was like, I'm trying to give people hope out here.
Well, good. Okay,
Awesome.
cool. I'm going to have to listen.
And then I talk about comedy, too, and, doing drugs and stuff like that in the past.
Oh, okay.
In the past.
He's like disclaimer in the past. Dude, thank you so very much. Like we don't want to take up too much of your time. Is there anything else coming up that you want to tell everybody about?
Well, no, I don't know. I mean, I don't know when this comes out, but I'll be at the Opry this weekend. I get to do the Opry a lot, which is fun for me as a country fan. And
Are you playing Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
I'm playing Tuesday. So that's I wish I'd have known, because then I would have tried to schedule Saturday, so we both could have been on.
Been awesome, yeah.
But
yeah, no, I got Netflix season 3, the stand-ups, episode 5, and watch them all, but watch mine a couple of times. But yeah,
if you're a friend of the podcast, you heard it here. Make sure you go watch that episode of the stand-ups if you do nothing else this week.
Yeah, and, I got a lot of stuff on YouTube. All my social media is at Dusty Slay, and, I appreciate you guys having me here. This has been great.
Absolutely, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys. Dusty Slay. He was awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, loved having him. All right, we got a lot to get into. Let's go ahead and start with music.
Music.
As he referenced, I have to say a huge thank you. Thank you, guys.
Let's go.
Thank everyone watching this. Most nominated artist at the ACM Awards this year. Absolutely insane.
And much deserved.
It's easy for y'all to say. We all work together.
Yeah.
Just blown away, completely surprised. Did not expect that at all. And there's no advance warning for this. Nobody calls me and goes, "Hey, might want to be ready for tomorrow." So I had an interview scheduled, and I was on an interview talking about Randy Travis. They did kind of a doc on him, and I was talking with Bill Cody on SM in the morning. And then I had some studio work on some of the new music that I'm working on. And if you've followed my Instagram,
You might see a clue.
you might see a clue to some of the things that are going on. And if you don't, go on over to Chris Young Music and check that out. But there's just a lot of things up in the air right now. So I was like, all right, I got to be at the studio at 11. I got this at 9:30. I think I can get to breakfast. And I'd already planned on going to breakfast. Before I got there, my phone started blowing up because they announced all the nominations. And for anybody that's wondering, the times 2 stuff. So the ACM specifically, nominate you if you're a producer as well as the artist. You get 2 nominations for certain awards. So, single of the year, event, and then album of the year, along with music video of the year. So just blown away and so grateful, but it's been awesome. I still don't know quite how to feel about it.
Yeah.
I think you won't know until you're actually sitting there and realizing that these awards are happening.
Well, I mean, by then, like the easiest way for me to say this, I was doing an interview before we jumped on and started filming this morning, and I'll say this. It is a huge honor. I've never been the most nominated at anything ever in the history of my career. So it is definitely something that, like that, nobody can take that away. That is in the record books. It is incredible. I'm nominated in a lot of these categories against friends and people I've worked with and toured with or have toured with me. And I still would never say that I hope I don't win all of them. Because if I'm just being honest, if you're nominated for something, you want to have a shot. You want to sweep. But it really and truly is just a huge honor to be the most nominated artist. So I'm just kind of blown away.
When you're to this point, too, in your career, Chris, like how fulfilling is that to have this kind of recognition when you put so much out there? You've got a number of albums underneath, you've got a number of number one songs, obviously, but to have this at this point after all we've been through in 2020 and 2021, and now to have lucky number 7 nominations, like that, just to say that
I am
so
wearing
crazy.
the lucky number 7 hat, so I mean, here's my deal. It's on the 7th. There's 7 nominations. It's the 57th ACM Awards. 777 in Vegas is good luck. So I got my fingers crossed. Who knows? Everybody's asking me all kinds of questions day of, because then I got all these interviews and everybody's like, ooh, I mean, what if you win this? I'm like, look, that's great. Right now, I'm going to live in the moment of celebrating all those nominations. And like you said, right, especially after the last couple years, all the craziness that everybody's been through.
No touring, no.
Yeah, and even when there was touring, not normal touring, not being able to see everybody on the road, not being able to
meet and greets, and
Yeah.
any of the stuff that feels like a normal career.
Right. It's the stuff that gives you, some of that validation of the work that you're doing in the studio. And I love that I've been able to have the time to spend on that record. Obviously, you get nominated for Album of the Year. It looks like that you've done the right work.
Correct.
But, yeah, all I can say is just completely blown away, and thank you guys. So, pretty awesome.
Well, I'm very happy for you. And like I said, it is well-deserved. You deserve this.
I don't know if anybody deserves that, but I'm going to take it.
You do.
You may have considered the 7 nominations an underdog here. So it made me think in terms of a new list that I wanted to put together.
Oh, no.
It's the 7 most underrated CY songs of all time.
Oh,
Lucky
no.
number 7.
Based on who? Based on you?
This
Ryan's?
This is according to our friends at my list.
At Ryan.
That's according to our friends at Ryan's list. The 7 most underrated CY songs of all time. At number 10.
Whoa.
Seven.
Oh.
7.
Autopilot took over on that one.
He's used to doing top 10s, guys. He's used to doing top 10s. Cut us some slack.
We're giving you 3 bonus ones here on the 7 most underrated CY songs of all time, because I put 10 on this list without even realizing it. At number 10.
Just go from number 7.
Go from number 7.
Well, I'm leaving out some really good ones on this. At number 7, Small Town, Big Time. Love that song. One of my favorites. Always gets me going when it comes on in the car, especially the initial beat when it drops in the song. It's always good. At number 6, When She's On.
Oh, I love that one. It's not underrated because everyone knows how amazing
I love that song.
is.
It's all good. These are my lists according to me.com. At number 5, Old Love Feels New. I love the story of that song. And it actually was the first dance song for one of my friends at their wedding. So really cool. Absolutely love that song. At number 4, Little Text Me Texas. It's one of the requested songs. Whenever you go on tour, you hear people in the crowd screaming it. They love when you play it, especially in Texas. So text me, Texas. We have gotten into the top 3 most underrated CY songs of all time.
I didn't tell him to do this, by the way. Anybody watching, this was not pre-planned. This is all on Rye.
At number 3, Heartbeat. I really, really like the tune of that song. I like the way it's written. Love it. At number 2.
By the way, that was going to be a single on that record, and then Carrie Underwood released a song called Heartbeat, which is a completely different song. Like, very, very different. But it was like, well, we're on the same
Never
label,
mind.
not doing that now. I guess we'll go do something else.
We can repurpose it. At number 2, just because it's been trending nationwide and worldwide on TikTok, Tonight We're Dancing.
Hey,
Had to give Josh some love on
big
that
fan.
one.
Thank you.
Okay.
And the most underrated CY song of all time on my top 7 list, according to me, is One of Them Nights. It's new. It just came out on the new album.
That's tough.
But every
to say
time
it's
that
underrated.
song
It's
drops-
new.
Yeah.
I love that song. It is power country. Every time it comes on in the car, it just makes me want to pop open a beer and just party. I love it. So let's go. There's my top 7.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, buddy. And seriously, I'm just still like, obviously I'm excited. I do feel really, really good about it, but it's one of those things I'm just like, oh, what the hell do you say after something like that happens other than just I'm appreciative and I'm honored and it's awesome.
I was so stoked for you and all the nominations that it didn't even dawn on me that I was a part of one of the nominations.
Yeah, of the album.
You were like, album of the year means you too, and I was like, oh
It's
yeah,
like it's-
oh crap.
You're a part of the album.
Yeah, I just didn't even dawn on me. I was like, dude, 7, that's incredible.
I had to say that to Mitchell too, because Mitchell was like, "Nah, I have to tell people I'm not nominated." I was like, "Well, no, but
you're
at
part
the same
of this.
time, you helped me make this record what it is. It's the current single, dude." So, very, very, very pumped. I don't know how many times I could say that, but I am. So, let's do a quick. What are you listening to before we move on? We got a couple other things to get to that are going to take a minute. This may be a little bit longer than the normal podcast. I don't know.
Like a sports thing? Like, do you want to talk about sports at all?
Yeah,
Or?
probably should get to that eventually. Maybe.
Weird.
All right. What do you guys got? Bear?
I'm going with SZA again. SCA in case.
I know how to spell it.
Not
By the way,
you.
say that again.
SZA.
No, spell it.
SZA.
It sounded like you said SCA for a second,
Ska.
which is even more
Like
confusing.
scissors? Like
People look up
scissors?
ska and then they just get ska music.
They just get Mighty Mighty Boss.
They're
Tones
like,
on
did you
repeat."
mean SKA? Yeah. Go
No,
ahead.
and that was for everyone else whenever I say that, by the way. But I Hate You. It's a great song.
I looked up right when she said that. I'm like, oh, God, what'd I do?
No, I don't hate you. The song is I Hate You. It's really good.
All right, there you go. From Haley to you. She hates you.
She hates you, everyone.
Rye, what do you got?
Well, I feel like this is appropriate since there's a plane going by right now. So I'm not sure if you can hear that in the sounds because whether it's a plane or an ambulance usually tends to go by whenever I'm on a podcast.
Right when
with
we
you all.
need you. Yeah.
Yep, right when you need me. This is pretty appropriate because I was jamming out to it. Are you guys reggae fans? Do we love reggae on this podcast?
I do like reggae.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're not a
Josh
reggae
is
fan?
like,
I just don't.
absolutely not.
not.
Wow. Okay. Feeling All Right by Revolution is my song this week to add to the,
That's a good
the
one.
list.
That's
That's a good kickback, chill, and relax song. Love it.
I'm going to go with a recommendation from my buddy Ward Gunther of Whiskey Jam Great Fame. The artist is Dan Alley. The song is Fall a Little Deeper. He told me to go check this guy out, so I've been listening to that quite a bit. So make sure you guys go check him out, all right?
And with the throwback, a little Diamond Rio. Unbelievable.
Ooh.
Yeah. Not even like, I mean, it was a well-known song, but
I mean, here's my thing. You know, we did the thing a while back with one-syllable songs where you know the
Body.
yeah, you know what's coming out. But for me, if you're gonna give it 2 syllables, that one would be in there. She's so.
Yep. I don't remember.
And then
the
you
word. Yeah.
kissable.
Yeah.
Yeah. That song is so good. I love Diamond Rio. Let's go. All right, great picks, guys. Let's go to sports.
Sports.
The Super Bowl. Man, what great playoff games and then a great Super Bowl to end this year. Most all of them decided by 3 points, and the Super Bowl was no different. If you were watching this game from start to finish, it comes out, everybody's trading blows. They're kind of figuring each other out in the second half. There's that moment where you think Matt Stafford's hurt and he's not going to come back in. There's the moment where you think Joe Burrow's hurt and he's not going to come back in. They both tough it out. They're trading punches. As I predicted, Aaron Donald made a complete mess of things to throw them off their rhythm at the end of that game and give Matthew Stafford the chance to run down the field and score to Cooper Kupp, your MVP of the Super Bowl as a wide receiver. The man got the triple crown. He got the MVP. The Rams win. OBJ, with all that craziness, he's just lighting them up at the beginning. Gets hurt, goes down. Same knee on a non-contact injury that he actually tore against the Bengals when he had that injury before. This game...
It was a sports movie.
Was electric. I loved it. I think I don't know that I would put it top of all time because, again, I'm kind of like whoever had won I would have been excited for different reasons. But to see the end of that game with Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, OBJ, and Aaron Donald all getting rings and just the tears and the families up there with them, knowing everything that Matthew Stafford has been through. He even had all of Detroit, I think, still rooting for him after he had been in Detroit that long.
This doesn't mean Detroit gets a title, by the way. I just want to make that clear. Like Lions fans, sorry. You still
No. But it
Don't you claim UCF getting the title, though, that didn't play in a game?
That actually happened.
Hey, we're not distracting this from the fact that the Rams won a Super Bowl. Absolutely fantastic moment for so many different people involved. And yeah, kind of sports movie-esque.
It really was. Even with all the penalties at the very end. And I mean, it felt like the stake. It felt like it was going to go to overtime. I thought they were going to score. I thought the Bengals were going to go down the field and Evan was going to kick a 59-yard field goal to send it into overtime. And I was like, this is how this is supposed to go.
And you know what? You know what happened to stop that?
Aaron Donald.
That man is a problem.
How crazy is this, by the way? Because Donald was exceptional and made the two biggest plays of the game on those final two series there at the end. One, to stop the first down from happening there by Joe Mixon, and two, to get Joe Burrow and spin him around so he threw the ball into the dirt. But this is crazy. Like, you talk about storylines, the game, the Rams had 313 yards of offense. That was actually the fewest since the Broncos were champion since 2015. But both teams had 13 drives and finished with nearly the exact same number of plays and yards. You talk about parallels of how even this game was. It was that even. It was pretty incredible just how these two teams fought to the end there. And by the way, one other weird stat of the day for you. For the 8th straight Super Bowl, the team that lost the coin toss won the game. Weird.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Well, really weird.
And to make note, everyone, of course, there's going to be the people saying that the refs won that game. I had people just blowing everything up saying the refs won them the game, the refs won them the game. And I'm like, really? Because the only reason why y'all were 7 points up is because they missed a really bad face mask call.
That was really bad. It was really bad.
That holding call that everyone is like, that wasn't holding. They lost the game for us. I'm like, you were only up because the refs left you that call. Like,
anybody that's a Bengals fan, like, I really do hope we see Joe Burrow in a Super Bowl again. I mean, there's a pretty good track record of teams making it, losing in the Super Bowl, and not getting back for a while. And I hate to even vocalize that because, again, there's not a whole lot of track record of teams winning 2 games and then going to the Super Bowl the next year. They had a magical season.
Breaks.
Well, I don't even know. Look, you can say lucky, but they've got to play the game, right? That's why don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, the refs didn't stop Aaron Donald from tackling Burrow. They didn't
They
do
sacked
that.
him a Super Bowl record 7 times. So, and Joe Burrow, by the way, got sacked more than any quarterback in postseason history. So they need to protect him on that offensive line. Maybe this year they'll be able to draft an offensive lineman. Obviously, choosing Jamar Chase was the right call there. This is a good Bengals team, and we will see Joe Burrow making deep playoff runs. It's going to be really fun to actually watch the Mahomes versus Burrow in the AFC for the next 10 years, because it's going to be incredible to watch those two superstars line up against each other. And I forgot about Josh Allen too. You got that too.
Hey,
but
again,
this is going to be fun.
You name Josh Allen, you name Mahomes, you name Joe Burrow. Who won the Super Bowl this year?
Matthew Stafford,
Yeah.
who has 35 fourth quarter comebacks in his career, including the regular season and the playoffs. That's the most by any quarterback since Stafford came in the league in 2009. So you want to talk about clutch? He did it.
And by the way, anybody coming from the position of, oh, well, he threw 2 picks. First of all, that second pick is not on Matt Stafford. That's not his fault. You don't go like whoop and just throw the ball up into the air. That was bad on his receiver's part.
Speaking of Matt Stafford, my guy, I had one bet where you just had to hit 290 yards. You just had to hit 290 yards passing. Do you know how many yards he had passing?
288?
283.
83. All right. By the way, on top of that, before we get too far away from it, right decision taking Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase was not a factor in this game
Nope.
at all.
That's because Jalen Ramsey is the best cornerback on the planet.
And by the way, anybody watching this right now, yes, we realize that one of the lights is blinking. I have no idea what the hell that sound was behind us. Ryan's got planes going over him.
Okay.
It just is what today is.
That's what we do.
Yeah, we're doing the thing. We're getting you content.
Yeah.
And look, I did want to say this. You look at Jamar Chase, you talk about how dominant he was this year, but then the last couple games in the postseason,
Teams can. We talked about this on Monday. You can if you double him, you can take him away, and so you have to have T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd have massive games, which they did.
and they doubled Cooper Kupp, and what happened?
He still got open.
So yeah,
He's the
guy-
best receiver in the league.
That guy has a connection with Matt Stafford. Think about this. They also get Robert Woods back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're going to have a lot of defections potentially in the offseason in terms of players leaving the salary cap.
What's
there's going
the
to be
guy's
some changes.
name? Whitworth, who's like 40
Yeah,
years
offensive
old.
lineman, Andrew Whitworth, who's incredible, by the way.
Yeah, he's going to retire. Aaron Donald may retire. He's already spoken to it.
Weddle already retired.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to lose.
Well, again.
Yeah, they're going to lose guys, but at the same time,
they have
the
a strong-
core of that team.
Yeah, I mean, you just replace Van Jefferson with Robert Woods just in that spot alone, and you're like, oh gosh, that's scary.
Yeah. So I stand by.
By the way, how about?
Sorry,
how
I'm
about Van
stepping all over
Jefferson?
you. You keep trying to talk. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I stand by my opinion last week that me and Josh both had, that the best matchup is Kupp and Stafford over Chase and Burrow. That's right.
Very, very well proven in this game. Offensive Player of the Year, 178 receptions, 2,425 yards.
That's so
22 touchdowns, and got the MVP. Cooper Kupp does not get talked about enough. He is the best receiver in the league.
100%. And I'm happy to finally see a receiver, not a quarterback, get the MVP. Even though I think Matthew Stafford would have also deserved it. But I think Cooper Kupp definitely.
You could have given it to Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. But those touchdowns would not have been there if Kupp didn't come through and get that ball.
Giving a quick shout out to our. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
Do you think Stafford made Kupp into who he is, or do you believe Kupp has always been this booming, rising superstar? at the receiver position?
Like Cooper Kupp was already that good. Do I think that combination elevates it? Yes.
Do I think he's better without Jared Goff throwing to him? Absolutely.
Yes. Sorry, Jared Goff.
Sorry, buddy. Enjoy Detroit.
Detroit's going to win something someday. You know. One day. One day.
What were you going to say?
Thanks to our friends at DraftKings. Did you guys have any action on? Did you have any fun bets that you won?
I lost every bet.
I want to say this. I made $100 bet where I picked the first touchdown scorer to be OBJ. I had Cooper Kupp I had Higgins. I needed one more touchdown from guess who?
Jamar Chase. Yeah. I had a bet that failed because of that one.
I missed it because of Jamar Chase.
Yeah. I had a what I thought was for sure. It was 15 combined receptions between Kupp and Chase, 80 receiving yards each.
Oh, and you didn't get Chase.
And Chase only it had 15. They hit 13 because Chase did not catch the ball.
At one point, by the way, the running game, they're going to have to figure that out for the Rams because Cam Akers had 11 rushes for 13 yards at one point.
Yeah.
So it was either that or something close. It was like the most obnoxious rushing yard stat I've ever seen. And they're going 6 wide. It had to be giving them shades of that game against the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
It had to.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I did hit one. I hit a plus 1,400 bet on the Super Bowl. It was only a $5 bet, unfortunately.
So?
It was any non-quarterback to throw a touchdown. And Joe Mixon threw a touchdown.
He did.
All right. I had like a weird parlay that was like a real small bet like that too. And I got so excited when I saw him roll out because it was any reception by either quarterback. And then Kupp overthrew him.
Yeah.
I was like, the one time that you messed up in this whole game. Dang it, Cooper.
That would have been an awesome play too.
Yeah. That would have given him a first down.
So I made my money back for the day. That's all that matters.
All right. I do have 2 questions. I don't really want to go into anything else because we still have to get to movies and then we have to do our hot take. But how do we feel about Aaron Rodgers winning the MVP?
I hate it. He was not an MVP of this season.
I was very surprised. I'll say it that way. I don't particularly like it due to the holdout in the preseason and then just his candor towards his team in general. I think rewarding that despite the fact that he was pretty good on the field. I didn't love it. I did not love that.
In the
Right.
He got 48 of the 50 votes. It was between him and Tom Brady, I would say, for the MVP award, if you're putting those two up against each other. Did I think Brady deserved the most valuable player award this year? Probably, given what he did at his age. But I think one of the things that's not being factored in here is, and while it was self-made distractions, there was a lot of distractions around Aaron Rodgers this year. And he still put together one of the best individual seasons for a quarterback in NFL history. And I think a lot of what is clouding this is because the Packers fell apart in the playoffs. And I think that is what's taking away from the shine of what was an incredible season by Aaron Rodgers.
I would say for me, I don't hate it. And obviously, this is our opinions, right? Nobody really cares what we think. We're not voting on it. No. Aaron Rodgers definitely doesn't care what we think about it. But I personally think that there were so many people that had good moments in the season. And no one really stepped to the forefront and had that undeniable, this is the best player in the league this year kind of season outside of Cooper Kupp.
And Jonathan Taylor.
I mean, they're not giving it to a running back. They're not giving it to a running back. They're not.
Also BS.
They're not.
And
they're not.
The Colts didn't win enough games to.
Yeah. They didn't have the kind of season that elevates them into that position. Sorry, Colts fans. I've got people I know, obviously, living here after all the Titans started to exist. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of Colts fans that moved down here, and it's not Jonathan Taylor. He had a fantastic season, but no.
Still would rather see him over.
He was kind of the only option on that team. While Carson Wentz is chucking balls out of the end zone, falling down to the other team. But I don't know. I can't take it away from him. I wish there had been a more clear-cut option because it doesn't seem like there was any excitement over it. It was like, and it got announced, and Super Bowl time.
Yeah, they announced it, and everyone went, it was like the Pro Bowl. It's like,
Yeah.
The Pro Bowl.
You know what is funny, though? Joe Mixon has more Super Bowl touchdown passes in the last decade than Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Okay.
Aaron
That's
Rodgers
like
has
any-
more rings. What do you want to talk about?
Just throwing a stat out there. That's all.
Does he? He has one. He won one Super Bowl.
Yeah,
By the way, when Ryan throws out these stats, for anyone listening that isn't a huge sports fan and you put up with our sports section on this because you want to hear the other stuff and you stick around to hear us kind of like laugh and make jokes with each other, he also leaves out a lot of the stats that they were throwing out before the game that didn't come to fruition. Like, the last 5 or 6 Super Bowls have been won by the underdog outside of one game. This now makes 2 games, which would not play into that stat. And he would have thrown that out immediately had the Bengals won this morning. Like it was some catch-all and be like, see, I told you guys.
The Bengals did cover, and for the 17th time in the past 21 Super Bowls, the underdog has covered the spread. So there's a stat for you.
You know who didn't? The Chiefs last year.
Ooh, all right, let's go to movies. Movies. All right, a couple things to get to. Ivan Reitman passed away.
That sucks.
Yeah,
That dude is responsible for like a lot of the movies that I loved as a kid.
A lot of my childhood, for sure. Space Jam, Ghostbusters, so many other things. He was 75. Evidently, from what's being reported, he passed away peacefully in his sleep in California. The family announced that. So rest in peace, sir. You were a big part of my childhood. No lie.
Thank you for the movies.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, I'm trying to like even just look it up. I don't want to move on too quick. He just
there's so many movies. I mean, but that
Animal
one for
House
me,
was another one. Animal House was a great one of his too.
Just Ghostbusters alone for me. Yeah.
So, Meatballs, Stripes, Ghostbusters, Twins, Ghostbusters 2, Kindergarten Cop, Dave, which I love Dave. Everyone knows I love Dave. Junior, Father's Day, No Strings Attached, Draft Day. I mean, just...
Yeah. What a career. What a legend. All right. On to our movie this week. Death on the Nile.
I'm so mad at myself. I didn't go see it.
All right, Ryan, you didn't go see it either, did you?
First of all, why are you just assuming that I didn't go
I
see the
saw
movie?
the look on
I
your
saw your
face.
face. And when you get defensive, you definitely didn't go see it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Death on the
I
Nile.
forget we're on video.
PG-13. We'll keep this spoiler free. All right. 2022 mystery crime, 2 hours and 7 minutes. Wow. 66% on Rotten Tomatoes. They did not like this.
Oh, no.
84% of Google users like this movie. And Belgian sleuth Hercule Poirot, Egyptian vacation aboard a glamorous river steamer, turns into a terrifying search for a murderer when a picture-perfect couple's idyllic honeymoon is tragically cut short. Budget of $90 million, and based upon, even though they were number one at the box office, the number was way down. There's a couple things that play into that. I've seen reviews where people are like, this is the remake that no one needed. Why did they do this? I've seen reviews that are like, this is great. It's exactly what I expected. It didn't blow me away. Obviously, it's a mystery. You're of the same mind with me. I think you'll pretty much figure out what's going on about halfway through.
Yeah, we called it.
It's pretty easy to guess. But there's still enough stuff that all the way up until the end, you're not quite sure.
So you didn't love it as much as Orient Express?
No.
No, definitely
That
not
would-
as good.
I would still recommend you go see this movie. When they got bought out, the company that made this movie, I'm sorry for not having the article at the ready. There are like 3 or 4 films that were already done before the buyout happened, and none of them have done well.
Interesting.
None of them have been heavily advertised. And I think it's maybe they're trying to put their own stamp on it now that they own that production company. But there's another level to this, which is Armie Hammer is one of the leads. And there's obviously been a lot of negative press about him, and he's lost roles. This was already shot by the time all of that stuff, I believe, started coming out, and then it got delayed. And I think that's why, like, you really haven't seen a whole lot of advertising for this. They did not put much behind the advertising budget.
There was a lot with this movie, by the way, going into it that was kind of roadblocks that you anticipated could give it sort of the anticlimactic release that happened. It was pushed back 6 times from the original release date. That's number one. So there was a number of times it was supposed to come out, continually pushed back. There has been some controversy with some of the main stars, in this movie, so that certainly doesn't help. There's been some scrutiny in terms of Israeli
you can just say Armie Hammer. You can just say Armie Hammer.
There's been a lot. There's been a lot in this in terms of being roadblocks for this to be successful right out of the gate. So regardless of whether or not it would be a smash hit or not, there's a lot of culprits around this, which could be a reason for why you're not seeing the sort of success. By the way, Super Bowl weekend too, like that's generally a slow weekend at the box office. So maybe that contributed to it as well. And it being released this weekend, that could be another.
Or are they trying to bury it?
That's probably more likely. When production companies get bought out and they have IP that is just sitting there, they want to release it because you might as well make some money off of it, but you don't care about those projects anymore. You care about the new stuff that you're trying to develop.
I loved Letitia Wright in this. She was so good.
Oh yeah, she was
fantastic. There's really great performances in this. It's obviously like really pretty. It's beautifully shot.
Yeah.
And there's one. Should I give it away?
I mean, you should.
No.
I'm sorry.
Not even a spoiler.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to hit the button. I'm sorry.
He's like, I just wanted to use the sounds. There's one actor in this, and he's the doctor. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I know that. Like, I know who that is. Who is that? And I finally caved and looked it up. And no, it's not a spoiler. It's in the cast list if you can look it up. Russell Brand.
Oh, no kidding.
And he's like very clean cut with it. He's playing obviously a role, but like probably the shortest I've seen his hair in years. And it took me a minute to place him. Like I recognized the accent. I recognized his mannerisms. I recognized the face, but I couldn't put the name with it until I looked it up. And he did a good job.
And it's a role you wouldn't normally see him play.
Yeah, it is not a comic relief role at all.
Let's not get him to the Greek, Russell Brand.
It's not. What's
Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Aldous Snow.
Aldous. Thank you.
Aldous
Snow. Oh, my God.
But, I mean, in general, obviously being such a fan of the first one, I was definitely really excited. I'm not going to say I didn't like the movie. I liked the movie. But any murder mystery I love because I love trying to pick out, what could possibly be a clue. But there was so much buildup before any actual murder. Like,
there was a lot of exposition.
Very much. So I was just like, let's get to the point already. Like, I feel like we're an hour in and we haven't even gotten to the murder mystery
Kill someone
yet.
already. Jeez.
Exactly. It was a lot of buildup.
You wanted like Game of Thrones where you're just axing people all throughout the movie?
Red Wedding the whole time.
Oh, gosh.
The whole time. But again, I would still say if you like this style of movie, go see it. It's worth going to see. And it's just, if you ask me if I'd ever watch it again, I'd rather watch the first one or something like Knives Out again.
Man, have you rewatched Knives Out since we saw it?
It's so good.
It's so good.
I've watched it probably 5 times now.
Aren't they making a second one?
I heard they're making a second one. That movie gets so much better on the rewatches because there's subtle things in the script that you don't realize are being said, is being shown to you until you know how the movie ends. It's incredible. So good.
All right, what are we doing
Apparently,
this week?
I think it's 2022, by the way. I think Knives Out 2 is supposed to come out this year.
Me and Ryan just cannot get on the same page.
Nope.
It's like, we already said that Knives Out 2 is coming.
Apparently, it's coming out this year.
Yeah, but you don't know if it's coming out this year, do you, Ryan?
Chris Evans might not be in it either. Ooh.
Cool.
We can still see you, right?
Yeah, we can see you're on camera now. You can't escape us. What are we going to watch this week?
Is the Channing Tatum one coming out this week?
Dog.
I don't know what comes out this week. Hang on.
think it is.
Do you want to watch Get Him to the Greek?
I
you
love
know
that
what? We
movie.
just did Jackass Forever. We should probably give it a second on that kind of movie.
The Fuzzy Walls, yeah.
Yeah,
What about Forgetting Sarah Marshall? Let's do Forgetting Sarah Marshall for this week.
not a fan. Not a fan of that movie.
You're not a fan of Forgetting Sarah
Dude,
Marshall? It's
I've
hilarious.
told you before, I hate films
It's
where the main protagonist, the entire movie, is having something bad happen to him. I can't. It's like Meet the Fockers. I can't do it.
There are so many good one-liners in that movie.
I've
so
watched
many
it.
good one-liners.
I've watched it. I understand why people like
And
it.
you fall in love with Mila Kunis. Oh, I love Mila Kunis so much.
Yeah,
Cool.
it doesn't matter how much you like this movie. I'm trying to tell you why I don't like the movie. And it's an old movie, so we don't need to go there again.
Dog does come out Friday.
Do we want to do that? It's supposed to be really good.
Someone who got to see a preview of it said it was really, really good.
I hope this isn't Marley and Me too.
It's an animal movie. You know there's going to be some sad part in it.
What about we go on the Channing Tatum pathway here, but not Dog? What if we did like 21 Jump Street?
Drump Street?
Drump Street?
Ryan, I'm trying to push people to the movie theaters.
Yeah, we're trying to go
because
watch something new, not something we've already seen.
I want movie theaters to succeed since they had such a rough time during COVID. I'm
I
trying
mean,
to push people to the movies.
Even that, Netflix reveals every new original movie releasing in 2022. They've got a lot coming this way. So, I mean, it would be a little bit disingenuous of us to try and go, yeah, let's do a retread when there's so much to go out and watch.
The Tinder Swindler.
Oh my gosh. Ryan,
All right, Dog it is. Dog. Here we go. If you have not heard about this movie, obviously, I believe it's a Belgian Malinois that's in
Yes.
the movie, and there's a subtle difference between Belgian Malinois and German Shepherds. I think it's hilarious. Everybody that goes to the Instagram for my dog, Porter the dog, and is like, oh, look at that Belgian. I'm like, no, he's a shepherd. They're different. But it looks to be a very, very good film. I've heard a lot of good things about it. So this week, that'll be the movie. Make sure you go see it.
excited.
Let's go to the hot take.
Hot take!
Who's taking this one?
I guess I can. I've been eviscerated on social media all night and this morning for my hot take on the halftime show yesterday. So eviscerated that airplanes are flying over right now and surveying my location to make sure that I never make such an erroneous hot take again on social media. The hot take was, and first of all, I thought last night's halftime show was excellent. Let me not step on that. Okay. It was nostalgic. It was iconic. It was extremely LA centric and focused. You had old hip hop and new hip hop blending together in a way that was beautiful, but it is not the greatest Super Bowl halftime show of all time. And those that are saying that it is are just being prisoners of the moment.
All right. And you
Now-
were texting us about this. So let me frame this correctly. You do not believe this is a top 5 halftime show of all time.
I'd put it at 5th, maybe. Maybe.
Do you need to pick a side? This is a hot take, Ryan. You have to have an opinion.
Yeah.
It is not among the top 5 halftime shows of all time. I would actually say the Weeknd's halftime show from last year was better.
Gosh, absolutely not.
No,
You
that's the hot take.
psychopath.
Get out of here.
You
That's your hot
psychopath.
take right
Defend
there.
yourself. Defend
Yes.
yourself right now.
We have finally reached the actual hot take from Ryan's opinion this morning. You think
Part
the
of the reason
Weeknd's
why-
halftime show was better than the one this year?
I think, again, we're being prisoners of the moment from the nostalgia of the LA type Super Bowl. Again, great performance. But the Weeknd's performance last year, which keep in mind, they had to completely reinvent the way they were doing that halftime show to not all be on the field. So he had to actually use the pirate ship in that entire area at Raymond James Stadium to be creative. There were more memes that came out of it. More people kind of talked about it after than I think people talked about this halftime show. He hit all the hits. Snoop Dogg didn't even do a single solo performance during this show, and he's the most
You don't even
LA-centric
believe
guy they
this,
had
right?
headlining that halftime.
You're not being serious right now.
The Weeknd's performance last year
Was the
better.
most boring.
Name me 3 Weeknd songs. Go ahead. I'm waiting.
Blinding Lights.
That's one. All
There's
the hits.
a few more.
All of the hits. One song. One song.
If you're going to ask me to go through all the hits of the weekend, I mean, I could definitely go through.
Starboy is one.
Stop looking them up right now. Hands up.
He's looking
Hands
them
up.
up.
Hands up. Hands up, Ryan. Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I thought.
Sacrifice, Take My Breath, Save Your Tears. I mean,
Didn't do any of those at the halftime show. That's fine.
Really,
okay, go ahead.
really
go ahead.
good
Continue. All the hits. Go ahead.
No. I mean, Blinding Lights. One right now. Moth to a Flame, Save Your Tears. I mean, those are excellent. Last night's halftime show was good and iconic, but how dare people try to make that halftime show just because 50 Cent is larger and hanging upside down, and we're all nostalgic about that? Say that is one of the top.
So
five
what's
of all
wrong
time.
with
They're doing a
hitting?
disservice. They are doing a disservice to Coldplay, Beyonce, and Bruno Mars. They are doing a disservice to Michael Jackson in the early 90s.
All
and they
right.
are especially forgetting about the most iconic performance of all time, which is Prince and Purple Rain in Miami in 2007 as he's shredding the guitar with rain pouring down. That is the best Super Bowl halftime show of all time.
You
less.
can list all of those. And by the way, I completely agree with you, except when it comes to the Coldplay one. And I'm not trying to mess with Coldplay fans or that performance, but just because they had Beyonce and Bruno Mars, who I would put their halftime shows in the top 5, does not immediately make the Coldplay halftime show top 5. It is not top 5 for me. I was at that Super Bowl. I saw it in person. It was good. It's not top 5. Stephen A. had it as his number 1. I love Stephen A. Smith. I was very glad that he let me on his show to do an interview. Absolutely not. I don't even know where to start with the fact that you think The Weeknd is better than the halftime show that we just got.
That's the hot take, that Ryan thinks last year's is better than this year's. Is that what
That
we're
is the
arguing?
hot take.
That's the hot take. That's what we're arguing right now.
You are something else right now.
You're on a
Ryan.
tightrope with no net, my friend.
Exactly.
And I like dancing on that tightrope and doing little spins and pirouettes with the possibility of falling, but I will fall on this sword. The Weekend show, more powerful, more iconic, better than the show we saw last.
Powerful? Are you kidding me?
No way.
They did exactly what they needed to do in this Super Bowl halftime show.
By the way, did you see any gifs from last night's show? Like, was there anything that went viral other than 50 Cent hanging upside down? Because I didn't see it. But the intro to the Weekend's halftime show last night, in last year, where he's, in the maze,
they were making fun of him.
viral.
They were making fun of him.
First off, that wasn't the intro of it last year. That was in the middle of it.
They were also making fun of 50 Cent, which, again, what is the gap of years between when he made that video and when he did it last night? I don't know, but
20?
I don't know. If
video
you get
came out in
older, if you hang
2003.
upside down, it's weird. Your face doesn't look the same. That's how life works. That guy's still in great shape, and everybody's like, "Yep, no, we got 75 Cent over here," and like, I don't know. I thought that was a little unwarranted. I was pretty impressed because there's an angle of this where you actually see 50 Cent like grabbing, basically doing a full pull up and just getting his feet up and sticking it up there so he can hang upside down. Nobody helped him do that. The guy's still in good enough shape at his age to get up there and wear like a tight white shirt and not look flabby.
Who among us can do that? No one.
I was like, that's impressive. Like I was
curious. How long was he hanging there before they actually came to him? That's number one.
Not
because
very
that
long.
would tell me. Okay. Number two is I did find it funny that 50 Cent performed after 2 quarters were played.
I saw that one on the internet too. Thanks, Ryan. Ryan, can I ask you a question? Was last year the first time you ever went to a Super Bowl in person?
No, I went to the Super Bowl in Miami the year prior, which was Shakira and J-Lo's halftime performance, if you were wondering.
I would not even think that The Weeknd was as good as that performance.
Yeah.
I would put Katy Perry above with the
Yeah, that Shark was better than The Weeknd.
Left Shark was way. If you go by viral moments, Left Shark was way more viral than anything that happened.
There wasn't, Ryan. And first off, we have to like pour one out for ourselves in our demographic. Like we are now the target demographic for ads with Austin Power ads and all sorts of like we are now the people being catered to.
And I'm interrupting you because you posted something that everybody's posted, and they're like, all these people talking about, they're doing all the stuff like The Who and Paul McCartney. That's still a much larger age gap. They had that as backlash after someone's boob got shown on TV, and they were panicking, trying to make it as safe as possible. This is not as safe as The Who and Paul McCartney. I love y'all. I know that post went viral, and it was really funny to be like, oh no, you realized you're older. Yeah, we get it. If you're in your mid-30s, you are perceived as older. I understand, but that's a little bit different.
It's a little bit different, but watching some of the ads and stuff, it just felt like we are sort of the target demographic now. Ryan, there is not a song that was played last night that wasn't a massive worldwide hit that I knew every freaking word to. And I couldn't even tell you, other than Blinding Lights, one other Weeknd song. So you are not on the right side of this at all, not even close. And I think the poll that we are going to put up will reflect this in a way that will be astounding to you.
Because it is all nostalgia from the 80s and 90s babies that are sitting here nostalgic about the old school and how
What's
it
wrong
always
with
was.
that? What's wrong with actually
Brian, when were you born?
89.
So you.
I'm an 80s baby.
So you.
This is you. And there's nothing wrong with being nostalgic. I'd rather be nostalgic about the halftime show than watch the freaking Weeknd sing songs that I probably heard maybe once. I want to feel it and I want to see it. And the way that it wasn't super dramatic. They had their one setup over what looked like the city and was really cool. They had the dancers changing between the hoodie coming out with Eminem, and Mary J. Blige looked phenomenal.
Kendrick Lamar was fantastic.
Ryan, so you said you think Prince was the number one?
Oh, without question.
Was that nostalgic for you, or was that throwback?
Oh.
No, I think it was.
Did he play all of his new hits? Did he play all of his new hits, the bops that are on radio, or did he?
What made it most iconic? First of all, you put some respect on the late Prince's name. Okay, number one, and number two, the rain pouring down in Miami while he's playing Purple Rain. There was no more iconic.
When did Purple Rain come out?
Super Bowl halftime.
When did Purple Rain come out?
I don't know. I wasn't born yet.
Huh. You played yourself, Ryan. You played yourself.
Ryan, I love you. This is going to be the most lopsided poll we've ever had.
Do we think 98 to 2? 98% to 2%?
98 degrees would be great. I even think, let's do 98 degrees for a halftime show. That'd be good.
Oh my gosh, no.
They
had one hit.
Can you imagine? Let's do 98 degrees
Well,
NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys as a halftime show. That right there is an idea.
You
Let's do
just
that for
named two
nostalgia.
much larger acts after the first act.
Let's just do nostalgia. Let's put Blink 182 up there as well. I even think
anything with that. Why don't we just do 98 degrees, Blink 182, and 311 since they all have numbers in their name?
I'd love that. There's a festival going on about that. I would say, even back in 2021, the special effects for the halftime show for the Weeknd were better than what we saw last night. Other than the shots over the top and the layout of the city of Los Angeles,
They didn't
there
need
really
special
wasn't anything
effects.
special to me.
They were literally, their show was their songs. That's what they do, is they sing their songs.
I
And
want to
that
be
was the
entertained at
entertainment.
the halftime show. I don't just want to hear music. I want total entertainment. I want to be wowed. I want to watch, and I want to be jaw-dropping type of entertainment and special effects. I didn't get that last night.
And that's how you felt last year? Because I was bored to tears last year.
So bored.
Well, you watched it in person like I did. We didn't get to watch it on television. On television, I
We
went
were
back
there.
and
We
watched
should
it.
have felt it. We should have been wowed.
They had it on the screen, Ryan. We saw all the same shots.
I don't know if you were. I felt wowed, especially fireworks.
You
the
don't even
dancers on the
believe this
field.
anymore. You're just talking.
He's
You're
just-
just talking.
it- I
He's
was
just trying to
wowed.
make an argument. All right, make sure you guys go vote on the poll and just absolutely bury Ryan for this ludicrous hot take that he has.
Luda!
Oh, man. As always, thank you guys so much for listening to The Quad with Chris Young. Thanks, Dusty Slade, for being on with us. From Ryan, Haley, Josh, and myself, we love you guys. All right, we'll see you next week.